This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. The Nightingale and the Rose refers to a short story in which love features as the overall theme. In the story, we are introduced to a young student who has been promised a dance by a beautiful young lady, the professor's daughter. From the story, it is pretty clear that the young boy expects much to come out of this, and maybe he gets a foundation for his love life from the ball. As such, the young student reflects that the prince gives a ball tomorrow night, murmured the young student, and my love will be of the company. If I bring her a red rose, she will dance with me till dawn. The young student presages what he expects of her reaction when she sees him with a red rose. He reckons that he would embrace her between his arms, consequently, the lady would lean her head upon my shoulder, and her hand will be clasped in mine. However, the predicament faced by the young student is that his garden lacks red roses. In effect, he feels that the encounter with the lady will be a sorry state of affairs. He reckons that he will be a lonely soul seated as the lady passes by, for he has nothing good to offer her. He says she will have no heed of me, and my heart will break. The devastation and desperation in the boy's heart, as witnessed by the Nightingale, melts his heart as he pities the boy. The girl's request to be sent a red rose is unrealistic, given that it is not flowering season for the red roses. However, the Nightingale is stunned by the boy's reaction and equates the passion in the boy to a character he normally sings about when he says, "Here at last is a true lover." He proceeds to say, "That night after night I have sung of him, though I knew him not, night after night have I told his story to the stars, and now I see him." The above sets the pace in the story, therefore, with Nightingale sacrificing his life, music, and everything else for this young man's sake. This, however, augurs well given that the girl refuses the rose, citing another bowling invitation where she has been presented with jewels as gifts. She values them more than the rose and turns down the boy's offer. This discourages the boy as his perception of love totally changes, and he vows to embark on philosophy. Meanwhile, the rose is trumped on by a cart as the boy had dropped it out of rage on the road. The following is, therefore, an analysis of the difference in characters between the Nightingale and the lady in the story. Character analysis. The beautiful girl in the story is materialistic. She cannot offer herself for dance just for the fun and company that it may provide, rather, she has to be given something in return. She does not care how much one has to go through to get the flowers, given it is not a season for roses. Rather, she stays firm on her condition before she accepts to dance. As a result of this, she could not look beyond the mere dancing the boy had requested to decipher that there is more than meets the eye, especially after the boy had brought the roses, and by then, they were out of the season. She just brushed them aside and without promise or anything she dismissed the boy. Her smirking of disapproval at the end, when the boy presents the rose, is testimony to her lack of interest in dancing with the boy. On the other hand, Nightingale shows a tendency to embrace virtues such as love and beauty with high regard. She sings of love, a lover she has never met, and when she finally meets the person she thinks to be the lover she always sings about to the moon and stars at night, she stops at nothing to ensure the young man gets his love. The Nightingale gives up her life for the sake of the boy's happiness, all in the hope that the young man will finally woo the lady he desires. The beautiful girl falls for the jewels presented to her by the chamberlain's nephew, and as a reaction to the young man's expression of disappointment, she calls him ungrateful. She continues insulting the young man thus, "I tell you what, you are insulting, and, after all, who are you? Just a student? Why? I don't believe you have even got silver buckles to your shoes as the chamberlain's nephew has." After this, she walked out on the student, leaving him with the flower in hand. The beautiful girl in the novel is exceptionally witty but sly. She probably did not want to go out with the student, given the fact that she told the student off, citing he had nothing to his name. Therefore, as a rejection of the offer, she gave him a task she was sure he could not fulfill at such a season and time of the year. Mind, she would be yearning for the ball with the Chamberlain's nephew. This would explain her reaction after she was presented with the gift. On the other hand, the Nightingale is straightforward. She promised to sing to the rose tree that produced red roses. She sang her heart out while forcing the thorn into it. She died at it. She adhered to what they had agreed to the latter. The lady is selfish. She doesn't care much about the boy's welfare. She doesn't want to associate with the boy even after he has presented the gift and doesn't care what happens to the boy afterward. This is despite her knowing the boy to a certain extent. On the other hand, the Nightingale is selfless. She has sacrificed her own life for the sake of the boy's happiness. She is touched by the fact that the same reason that gives her joy is the same reason the boy is disappointed. Conclusion. There are many contrasts between these two characters. The above highlights the stark differences between the two. However, the two characters, if on a grander scale, have significant effects on given subjects. For instance, in a given society, if people of influence exercise the same traits as the beautiful girl, her subjects are likely to follow such traits, resulting in vices such as corruption. On the other hand, Nightingale's character imbues peace and love, therefore creating a harmonious, prosperous environment for both master and servant. This essay on the Nightingale and the Rose poem analysis was written and submitted by a student just like you. The Ivy Panda Samples database hosts thousands of works similar to this one, on various subjects. Visit ivypanda.com to find what you are looking for, free of charge.